Gregory, your friends are worried about you. They're here with me. Please come out. Gregory, I may have lost my temper earlier, but it was just a glitch. It won't happen again. It's been such a difficult day for all of us. Why don't you come out and we can play a game together? It won't happen again. It was just a glitch.
Gregory, be still. I think she's found us.
It was just a glitch.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Babblelink channel. As we all know, Chapter 19 is just around the corner and it's time to speculate what this chapter might be about. So let's start discussing inside the Stratagem Shack. Now there have been quite a few theories about what Chapter 19 might be about. It might be a non-licensed chapter. It might be a licensed chapter. If it is a license, it might be Resident Evil, or Slender Man, or Five Nights at Freddy's. Well, I'm here to prove to you that the next chapter is going to be a licensed chapter, and it's going to be a Five Nights at Freddy chapter. I am putting a huge gamble into this theory, so before anyone starts discrediting my theory and leaving the video early, please hear me out. We will start with the very first clue they left us on Twitter, the Fang security monitor photo. As you can see, Fang is standing next to a few security monitors in the newly remade Saw map. I know. You might be thinking, you were just saying what the king of polyester is saying. There's no new information. Well, I actually do have more information to reveal about this photo that has not been discussed yet, and will prove my theory further that this is a Five Nights at Freddy chapter. Now, when the community was looking at this photo, they were not actually absorbing all the information that was given. The community mostly focused on the security monitors, and that's about it. I do see the argument that this might be a Resident Evil chapter, as Resident Evil Resistance uses security monitors and cameras for their PvP mode. But I'm here to tell you it's not Resident Evil. Everyone in the community is too absorbed with the security monitors and what's on them that Fang gets overshadowed completely. Look at what she is wearing. Why did they choose that outfit? Why did they choose Fang out of all characters to put in the photo too? Just some of the questions that I started asking myself when I started focusing on her a little bit more. Now, turns out by just using Google and typing in all the Fang cosmetics, you can get a list of all of her cosmetics. Wow, I know, shocking, right? When scrolling down to find the name of the outfit Fang is wearing, I came across something very interesting. By just Googling Fang and going to her Wikipedia page, you can scroll down and look through all of her cosmetics. Now, when you look at the security monitor photo of what Fang is wearing, and you look at the description of the outfit itself on Wikipedia, look what it says. Now, when you look at the description of the outfit Fang is wearing in the security photo, you will read that the outfit is worn during video game tournaments lore-wise for Fang. This is confirming that this next chapter is a video game licensed chapter. Now look farther to the left and see what the name of the top and pants are. Notice how they call it the Laser Bear top and the Laser Bear pants? You know what horror video game uses security monitors and their main mascot is a bear? You guessed right. Country Bears confirmed, fellas! But in all seriousness, you can see how this photo left specific clues towards Five Nights at Freddy's.
But that's not all. There is even more compelling evidence. This just scratches the surface of what I'm gonna show you down my rabbit hole.
Ugh, get your mind out of the gutter, perv. It's not even what I meant. The next photo that Dead by Daylight uploaded was of a coffee cup with the logo Mighty One and a statement from someone that hacked the Dead by Daylight account stating, "Been up all night, stay tuned." They even changed the name to Magnum Opus. This has got everyone highly confused on what is going on. Before we focus on the word Magnum Opus and the logo Mighty One, let's focus on the statement been working all night. With this statement, we can see that these words tie into Five Nights at Freddy's. As the main character, you are a security guard who works all night making sure nothing gets in or out. You also work behind computers and security cameras for your job. This insinuates that the person hacking works behind computers as her job and works at nights. She clearly works for the company Mighty One Entertainment. Now let's focus on the Twitter account name Magnum Opus. What does this mean? When we look up the definition, it roughly means the perfect creation. Did you know that the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's stated that Five Nights at Freddy's is his magnum opus? The community of Five Nights at Freddy already know the story of Scott and already know about his words magnum opus as well, may I add. So here's the article explaining Scott's story, the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's, and how Five Nights at Freddy blew up and became so popular. I'm not going to read the entire article to you, I'll just summarize it to you guys. But basically, when Scott was first building video games in the video game industry, it wasn't doing so well, he wasn't making a lot of money, and he didn't know if he would make it in the video game industry. So he decided to make one video game as a last-ditch effort in hopes that it would blow up. If it didn't work out, he was going to quit the video game industry in general. So basically, what ended up happening was he treated Five Nights at Freddy's as his magnum opus. And not only that, the community knows about it being his magnum opus, and if you were to look up magnum opus and the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, there are a lot of people that create their own creations of animatronics, and they call it their magnum opus as a reference to his magnum opus. It's a sweet little ode. This proves even further that this is going to be a Five Nights at Freddy chapter, because now we have two different photos with multiple different clues that directly tie into Five Nights at Freddy's, and I showed you the evidence for it as well. Also, fortunately for you guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
I have more evidence to show you to prove that this is a Five Nights at Freddy chapter.
Now, Dead by Daylight just recently uploaded another photo of a lady wearing like a weird blue outfit, and I'm not really going to talk about this too much because I feel like this is just misleading and it's irrelevant. It's probably just a cosmetic for the survivor, and that's all you all really need to know about it. I think this is just a distraction to confuse you even further. So let's just move on to the next thing. Now, I think this is the most compelling evidence that I can prove to you that this is going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's chapter. Magnum Opus just uploaded a new piece of evidence today of a music track. So we're going to head back over to their Twitter page, and we're going to give a good old listen to the soundtrack, and then I'll give you my thoughts about it afterwards. So from what I'm hearing from the soundtrack, the music is very bass heavy and sounds a lot like rock music, which coincidentally the new Five Nights at Freddy's game also has it's 70s rock music for their theme, and it's heavy in the bass lines. If you were to watch the second trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's, you would hear heavy bass in that song before they start ramping up into an epic climax. So in my opinion, this is probably going to be the Five Nights at Freddy's main menu theme for the game of Five Nights at Freddy's, and also the main menu theme for Dead by Daylight when they do put the chapter out. Because remember, these days when they have a new killer come out, they tend to put their theme song in the background on the main menu nowadays. So they're probably going to be doing the same thing here. So weirdly enough, I don't think they're going to release the chapter next week. I think they'll release the teaser. I think the official chapter will come out on March 19th. And I know that might be a little weird to say. This might be a little far-fetched, and I might be overthinking this, but I want to show you why I think this. And it was kind of clever in how they show you in the trailer. But again, this is far-fetched, so who knows? right there at 3 minutes and 19 seconds. That's exactly the time they decided to pause it and rewind it. Kind of strange that it's 3:19, but that's my theory. I think it's going to come out on March 19th and not next Tuesday. Maybe there might be a play test for Tuesday, but the official chapter should come out around March 19th, with my prediction of Five Nights at Freddy also releasing their game on that Friday as well, because they're going to do a double release together. Now is the time that I want to mention all the other references and clues that they left behind that I didn't think were as important, but they still tie into the Five Nights at Freddy's, so I'm going to quickly go over them. For the color theme, if you notice, it's a hot pink and like a hot neon blue, light blue. And the color theme for the new Five Nights at Freddy's is literally those two color schemes on top of that. And the lady in the background clearly works at that new location as well, since she has the pink and blue background in there as well. At first, I kind of thought it was like a bisexual meaning, but I don't think so anymore. I don't think she has anything to do with LGBT. Who knows? They might have snuck it in, and she does, but as far as I can see, she fits the color themes perfectly of Security Breach that's coming out. So the next topic I want to get on was Mighty One Entertainment. Clearly, the blonde-haired lady works for them, and as far as I saw for the new Five Nights at Freddy's, a new location is being built. So my prediction is Mighty One Entertainment is the one that built it, and it makes sense for entertainment because in the new Five Nights at Freddy's, it's an arcade, it's laser tag, they got like go-karts and stuff like that you can explore, massive playgrounds. It's like a big ass place just literally filled with entertainment. There's music with animatronics and stuff like that. So Mighty One Entertainment building the new Five Nights at Freddy's location makes total sense to me. And the reference to the Mighty One is the perfect animatronic that Scott has been trying to build storyline-wise, his magnum opus for an animatronic. And I guarantee this is the company that tries to build the perfect animatronic that they can control, known as the Mighty One. And on top of that, it seems like their Mighty One fell, so they can't control it, because in the trailer they keep mentioning it's just a glitch. So, you know, this is my prediction for it. That's a little bit of a stretch, but it totally makes sense to me, honestly. It makes perfect sense. Now, the last few things that I do want to go over is the survivor. Who's the survivor? Who is the killer? And my prediction for gameplay mechanics on how the killer is going to function and how survivors are going to interact with the killer. So here it goes. So what you're looking at is the main character for the new Security Breach at Five Nights at Freddy's. She is clearly going to be the survivor for the chapter, not the blonde lady that they do show in there. And I'm kind of stereotyping it. They both have blonde hair, so they might have an actual family relationship with them. Like that could be an aunt or like a mother or stepmother, something. I think they have a relationship with each other. The blonde hairs kind of, match with each other. But also, to add on to that, there's a gameplay mechanic where she's able to get inside of a fake mechanical suit and pretend to be one of the suits and stuff like that. And there's another character that pretends to be in a mechanical suit as well. And the character you're looking for, Gregory, also hides inside one of the mechanical suits too. So the biggest mechanic in this game, new mechanic that seems to be in this game, is hiding in the suits themselves. But now knowing that, this will directly tie into how the game mechanics work and how we're able to see the blonde-haired lady kill people and stuff and how the animatronics are going to work. And the example I'm going to give is through the twin chapter, because the mechanics are going to be very similar to the twins, but I feel like it's going to be way more complicated. And here's what I think about that. I really appreciate everyone for staying this long with me, and I promise you it's only going to be a few more minutes longer if you want to stay. This is just me theorizing on how the mechanics of the killer will work and how the survivor interacts with the killer. So I'm just going to briefly get into it and then comment what you guys think of it and how would you improve on the system. So basically, the blonde-haired lady killer is going to be not on the map, and you're going to have to be immersed, and she's basically going to be watching from a distance, and she's going to be controlling the mechanical suits through hacking them. And basically you start off with 4 mechanical suits on the map, and you start off in one automatically, randomly. You don't know which suit you're in. And once you load in, you can see the auras of the different mechanical suits, much like a trapper's traps, where you can see the auras of the traps. You have to walk over towards them and pick them up. Or maybe there's a button where you can transfer the kid's soul into the other one, because I know there's kid souls trapped inside the mechanics. I don't know how they balance it. Maybe you'd have to be right next to it to switch, but the idea is you're switching between the mechanical suits regardless. So basically, each suit does different abilities and different powers, and they do like small stuff. And so, for example, I remember the community a long time ago wanting a killer based around powering up as the match progresses. So this would be the perfect idea to implement them. So you could have, like, say, like Freddy as the mascot bear, since he's like the biggest and strongest, I guess you could say, if you see it that way. He could be the killer that one-shots, and his movement speed is at like 95%, and after 2 hooks of a survivor, you get a 5% speed increase. So after like 6 hooks, you're basically at 110% normal, where you need to be anyways, and you wouldn't really get the benefit of hooking the other survivor, but you can also get an extra 5% just in case from that last one. And then another idea is, like, for another suit, you would have like a smaller, skinnier suit. It's an M1 suit, and it moves really, really, really fast, but it's hard to control, almost like Blade a little bit and stuff like that, but it has other benefits too. So basically, you're able to leave the suit behind next to a gen or, say, a hook, and the longer it sits there and stays there, it starts regressing the gen by like a small percent, or it can like regress hook timers by a small percent, and then we can see like camaraderie and perks like those hook perks and stuff like that maybe see more play, and they get indirectly buffed, and they can do different things. And then I had the idea that since they messed with Object of Obsession recently and making it a pinging idea, I really think they're going to add the idea of where you can leave the suit behind, just like Victor, and every 30 seconds it'll ping the location of auras in a 36-meter range, like every 30 seconds, which would be like a neat idea. So it'd be like another version of Victor, because they wanted more pinging ideas. Or like, but you get the point of the killer. The different suits do different things as the stage progresses, and you're able to switch between the suits. I honestly feel like the twins was a setup for this chapter. Was like a predecessor to see how you can mess with switching between characters, and I think they got a lot of insight on it to be able to build upon that system, because I think that is the coolest system they came up with, being able to switch between 2 killers in one map. But enough talk about the killer. You get the idea. I'm going to move on to the survivor mechanics, because I feel like these are the most interesting survivor mechanics, and they tie directly into the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. So I'm just going to go right into it. Now, for the survivor side, this is where it starts getting interesting, in my opinion. What I think they're going to do if they ever introduce it is, the survivors are able to climb into any of the mechanical suits, and only one survivor at a time can be in a suit. When you're in a suit, you can't heal and you can't do gens. And the people that want to get in the suit, this is more of an incentive for the people that love to run people. So it would be like, as soon as you get in the suit, it'll make a noise indicator to let the killer know that someone's in one of your suits, and you can like bait them into chasing if you want to, or if they, with that knowledge, they can leave you alone, or like if they really need that suit for later, they'd want to get you out of it. So the idea is that a survivor can climb into a suit, and the suit can act like a locker or a hook on top of that. So basically, once you're in the suit, you can control it and move it, or you can stand still and treat it like a locker, and you can use like Jane's locker stun to stun them if they get out, for example, or it can be treated as a hook. So for example, if you treat it like a locker and you don't get the stun off in time, instead of her pulling you out of the suit and putting you on the hook, she traps you in the suit, and now it activates the hook timer, and wherever you're sitting, that's where the hook is technically. So then now you have to wait for a survivor to come up and save you to get you out of the suit, and then it functions just like that. And I think that would be one of the coolest things that you could do for that. And then another thing about being able to hide in the mechanical suits is, I remember a bunch of players asking for a killer like the Thing that can hide amongst survivors and mess with them, but I feel like that type of system wouldn't work as the killer. But for a survivor pretending to be the killer, I think that would work. So for example, if a survivor gets into a mechanical suit, if they're at full HP, they can climb in and out of the suit at will. If they're in the injured state, they're trapped in the suit and they need the help of another teammate to get out of the suit. Now, the suit won't sit there and kill you after a certain amount of time. You'll always stay injured. But basically, you need another teammate to get you out of the suit, or you can't heal anybody, or you can't work on any gens. What makes getting in the suit too, if like say like, well, what's the point of a survivor getting in suit? What's the incentive? Like I said, another reason why a survivor would want to get into a suit if they don't want to get into a chase or something, like say the suit is sitting next to the gen, it's regressing, or it's next to the hook, somebody's going to have to sacrifice their time to get the mechanical suit and move it away so they could, keep working on the gen or something like that. Because remember, the suit's going to be regressing gens. It can do like a pinging system depending on the different type of suit. So there's that. And I think, and another scare factor that can happen is, say, like one of your teammates is working on a gen and you're solo, and all of a sudden you see this person in a mechanical suit come around the corner. Do you know if that's the killer or not? Are you going to run away from it in that situation? It's like a nice little time waster of like just trying to figure out, like, oh, is that the killer or is that a survivor? And adds that element of surprise too for one of the suits. As you can tell from all these ideas, like, there's just so many different things you can do with the Five Nights at Freddy mechanical suits that it's kind of sad to see that people in the past to say that like, oh, there really isn't much you can do. What is he going to do? Just run at you and stuff? You need the TV monitors. That's not the case at all. There's a much better system for it. But basically, those were the ideas for both Killer and Survivor. I'm sorry that the video took so long. I appreciate you guys sticking it out to the end. If you really liked my theory, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see more theories of like any other games or movies and stuff, I psychoanalyze those, and I love doing it. So let me know if you enjoyed what I had. And would you agree that this is a Five Nights at Freddy's chapter, or am I completely crazy?
You decide.
Until then, later, taters!